Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, so let's just dive in. And let's start off with a few things. So I have seen a lot of FUD coming out over on Twitter. There's been discussions around how Ripple is not utilizing XRP at all, and they're just dumping it on the open market through on-demand liquidity, and how XRP is basically this worthless garbage coin. The same narrative that we've heard for so many years. And what has really changed, right? Not much. Over the years, I've seen so many attacks on XRP and on the value behind XRP and the understanding of XRP. To me personally, throughout time, it is more and more clear to me that many people just don't understand what they hold. Once you understand what you hold, almost all of this is just noise. You know, it's great to watch videos on XRP. It's great to listen in and talk about XRP and discuss a few things around the PDF files and all that kind of stuff. But over the years, one thing has become very clear to me, and that's the fact that we are in this very weird phase. It's a transformative phase of finance and pretty much everyday life. And it's going to take some time. Listen, it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to feel like it did, because once everything is live, everything's going to change. I mean, the world around us is going to change in an instant. And what we will see is instantaneous payments, instant settlements at a fraction of a penny. And overall, we're going to see modernization of our entire financial rails. Now, will XRP be moving all of the money? Will XRP be skyrocketing to $100,000 per token and things like that? No, I don't think so. And again, I would love to be wrong. I'd love to see XRP at $100,000. I mean, listen, I'm a very large holder of XRP. If we go to 100,000, then hey, I'm not going to complain. But I feel as though there's been so much pushed around XRP in the last couple years, and it really does speak for itself. Like, you know, I understand why people are so pissed off. You know, we've been force-fed a lot of stuff around XRP for so long. There's been a lot of things to, you know, talk about, discuss. And it's very hard to see through the monetization phase of a lot of this content, meaning, you know, a lot of things that are said around XRP and a lot of things that are discussed around XRP are ultimately just for viewership and money. I've talked about this as well as around like the Hill Capital. You know, I think that that's one of the worst names around the XRP community, because for so long, you know, the community has been fed lies. Here's 10 things that the XRP community needs to get right. So David Schwartz recently commented on this, and it caused a fury of a ton of individuals coming out of nowhere and just ripping XRP to shreds. Now, first off, taking a look at all of this stuff, it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, listen, if you have a mind of your own, almost all of this could be completely shut down. I mean, XRP being pegged to gold, silver, or anything else, I've talked about this. One XRP will always equal one XRP. It doesn't need to be pegged to gold, silver, or anything like that, and it can't. If anything, I've talked about a possibility of a gold-backed system where XRP becomes the bridge asset. XRP is actually compared to digital gold because of how fast it could be moved around the world and how valuable it actually is. A lot of people want to put a fake value on XRP where it's going to be, you know, this, that, whatever. But ultimately speaking, I think that XRP is limitless in the value that it could create. I think that the XRP Ledger itself is very valuable, and I do think that a lot of the use case advantage around XRP is very valuable. Now, outside of that, do I really care about what David Schwartz says about XRP? Not really. And the reasoning behind that is that, listen, when you look at Ripple, I don't believe that Ripple's the savior for XRP. I don't think that Ripple is the one that's going to create the most amount of value for XRP. I think that the most amount of value for XRP is going to be created around the XRP Ledger. I do respect and I do value David Schwartz's discussions, but I think that a lot of it kind of goes over the heads of most people out there in the community, which would, in my opinion, be better if David Schwartz just did not talk about things happening around XRP, because a lot of people blow it out of proportion. But I do think, and I value the fact that he is debunking a lot of this, because I feel like for so long, a lot of people have just tried to push this narrative around XRP and the possibilities of XRP being this, that, whatever. And most people do listen. And once you have a large amount of people listening and pushing the same narrative, well, then it kind of gets believable. And I think that that's what happened so far in the community. But nonetheless, like I said, I don't really care about what anybody else says about XRP. To me, I know what XRP could be. I know what XRP is today, and I know what XRP will eventually become. And I think that the same could be said about crypto. I think that we are very, very early on. I think that, you know, the debate around a few things within speculation is healthy, but I think that some of the speculation has gone beyond what healthy speculation could eventually be. But as we do look at what Ripple is doing with crypto, we know that they are opening the door for incredible opportunity around crypto and crypto use cases, especially in terms of instant payments and things like that. It doesn't really matter on what today's price of XRP is going to be or tomorrow's. To me, I think that long-term crypto is such a huge area of opportunity, and I do think that crypto will create a lot of millionaires. But it's going to be the ones that truly understand what they hold that will become millionaires and financially free and ultimately reap the rewards of being this early in the space. When we look at XRP, like I said, most of the FUD has been created around this discussion within the 10 things about XRP, but also the liquidity hub. The liquidity hub was a big one, which we talked about, we discussed. But from Stuart Alderado, we do see can't join the spaces today, but wanted to clarify some questions on our newest product, Liquidity Hub. One, Liquidity Hub is an enterprise institutional product, not retail. In the US, there's little liquidity for XRP. We're keen to support XRP in the Liquidity Hub when we can provide a good customer experience. And the reasoning for this is due to the regulatory issues within the US. Once we do see those regulatory issues behind us, then ultimately, yes, the door does open for XRP to be utilized a lot more properly within the US and also around the Liquidity Hub, which is very beneficial for us. But we do see our product team has been very clear. Liquidity Hub was built to access all kinds of crypto liquidity, not just XRP. Our target Liquidity Hub customers today, mainly institutions in the US, want access to a variety of tokens like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins. We're here to serve customer demands. Also, as previously stated in our blog post, XRP does not have regulatory clarity in the US, which is, of course, important to enterprise customers. For those comparing on-demand liquidity and Liquidity Hub, on-demand liquidity has for years used and will continue to use XRP. Our sales of XRP reported every quarter are all to on-demand liquidity customers for use in the product, which is thriving globally. Which again, clarifies a lot of things. A lot of people have been saying, oh, well, Ripple's not utilizing on-demand liquidity with XRP, but this debunks that, right? I strongly believe that as we look at on-demand liquidity, it is a very, very interesting use case. And in fact, there's a lot of major players that are utilizing it today. SBI is one that has been utilizing on-demand liquidity for so long. And although, yes, it's not directly impacting the price of XRP, and I don't believe that on-demand liquidity is the thing that's going to allow XRP to skyrocket, overnight to astronomical heights. In fact, I do think that it's going to be the network effects of XRP that is going to do that. And I think that that comes from the retail sector utilizing XRP and the institutional grade sector utilizing XRP all at once, which I do think is a possibility that could happen within the next 2 to 5 years. But as we do look at this, they are sourcing XRP as a bridge currency, which reduces credit risk and pre-funding costs, as well as enhances competitiveness. And I do think that that's going to be the same thing around the banking sector. I recently seen a lot of people saying that Bank of America is no longer on Ripple's website, which when you do come over here to Ripple's website and you scroll down, Bank of America is no longer here under Ripple's website, ripple.com. But if you go over to the RippleNet committee, which is over here at RippleNet or ripple.com/RippleNet-committee, if you scroll down, there you have Bank of America. Again, they want to utilize RippleNet, which is the major competitive advantage for any banking client to utilize. Bank of America actually spoke out about this around on-demand liquidity. They want to utilize XRP, but they are waiting for regulatory clarity within the US, which I think everyone is at this point in time. But also as RippleNet does expand rapidly, which they have been expanding recently as well, it gets me more and more bullish for the future when we do have regulatory clarity. Listen, we are still very early in the thick of things. I've talked about this even when comparing it to the internet, right? With the internet, it was a battle. It was a regulatory battle on the forefront of things. Most people called the internet a fad. And then all of a sudden, by like around 2005, I would argue, it was like the height of like social media platforms where, which I don't even know if we even hit the height until like 2010, 2012. We still might have not even hit the height. But when MySpace, was like the big thing, that's when we started to onboard well over the billion user mark on the internet. And I do think that the same is going to go with crypto. Right now, I think that a lot of people are still kind of looking at crypto as this risky asset class because that's what they're being force fed over on mainstream media. But once we do see regulations, and I mean proper regulations where it continues to allow to have crypto thrive and innovate further, I think that that's when we will see the next, 500 million plus users onboard it. And I do think that we will hit the 1 billion mark pretty quickly. But what if we don't have a massive amount of individuals onboarded to crypto? What if we don't have people directly buying XRP or Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever? What if we just have them utilizing crypto driven use cases, like, for example, the crypto solutions that are outlined over here on Ripple's website, meaning cross-border payments, crypto liquidity, and CBDCs. Like, this would be the key to mass adoption where individuals are utilizing crypto without even realizing it, which I've talked about on many occasions where this would be the most, I would say, practical way of hitting mass adoption, where you have friends and family utilizing crypto, and it could be tokenization services, it could be liquidity services, or it could just be as simple as payment services. And it will be all through crypto, but they don't even know about it. Which is kind of the same whenever you talk to somebody about like distributed ledger technology, and they're like, what the hell did you say to me? Like, you're kind of speaking a different language when you bring up terms like distributed ledger technology or central bank digital currencies. They don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, there's been a lot of discussions around the value of XRP, and usually when I hear any discussion around XRP or if Ripple's utilizing XRP, we know for the longest time that Ripple has been a main proponent around XRP. They've talked about it, they've discussed the power and the potential behind XRP, and they do sell XRP. Listen, that's very transparent today more than ever, especially going back 2 years ago when the lawsuit first hit. I mean, everyone knows about their business model, but XRP is also a key player in a lot of their solutions. It might not be, boasting trillions of dollars, but it still is in the billions. We know almost every quarter that they sell pretty much, it's like $250 million worth of XRP. Like, for an example, over here, we do see from February 1st, Ripple sold $226 million of XRP in Q4 of 2022. See strong growth in on-demand liquidity product, and we already know that on-demand liquidity spans worldwide. But XRP is not utilized for every single major on-demand liquidity transaction. It's still only utilized outside of the US until we do see regulatory issues, fixed. But I do think at some point in time, very well in the future, we could very well see XRP boasting $1 billion plus in sales per quarter, and ultimately at some point in time hundreds of billions, which would be very beneficial once we do see that. But here we have a little bit of a video from Ripple on how they utilize XRP. I'll play the video and then I will talk a little bit about it. This is only, I want to say, about 1 minute and 30 seconds long. I might not play the whole thing, but just listen closely.
These challenges and have created an innovative payment solution that leverages the XRP Ledger and the digital asset XRP. XRP is the perfect crypto for payments because it transacts quickly at very low cost with high throughput and is carbon neutral. Ripple's payment solution uses XRP to bridge fiat currencies, eliminate pre-funding, and makes payment terms visible, which supports our partners' compliance efforts. And we offer affordable line of credit options that enable capital agility and rapid scaling. When you are ready to scale to new corridors, our network provides you access to premier receivers in key markets that you can start transacting with in as little as 4 weeks. Here's how a Ripple payment works. The sending institution requests a fiat-to-fiat quote on pricing and foreign exchange, or FX. The sender receives and approves a quote with pre-negotiated FX margin from the receiver. The sender submits the payment instructions. The sender debits funds from a digital asset wallet funded by Ripple with XRP and transfers funds to the receiver in less than 3 seconds. The receiver immediately pays out the end beneficiary in fiat according to the payment instructions. In parallel, the receiver converts XRP to fiat. The sending institution is invoiced at the start of the following business week, post-transaction. The benefits are clear. Payments in seconds with lower transaction fees that are available when you need them, are reliable, transparent, and are managed elegantly. From remittance to small and medium enterprise to treasury payments, Ripple transforms your global payments.
And throughout this entire video, I mean, you could see that the XRP logo is pretty much everywhere. Although, like I said, when we look at what Ripple is doing with XRP, are they utilizing XRP at every second of the day for everything? No. But I do think that at some point in time, when we have regulatory clarity and regulations are in place, I believe that XRP will be a token that transforms value creation, movement, and settlement. And that's a very large use case. And it's going to take time. Listen, this is not an overnight thing. And I always stress that, like, as we look at this market, we are still very early on. To me personally, as we look at what's happening around on-demand liquidity, as we look at what's happening with XRP, you know, this is not going to be an easy thing. This is not going to be a thing that gets massively adopted overnight. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight. But one thing that I've been making clear on this channel is just how early we are on crypto. I mean, right now, as we look at things happening around the world within crypto, we see major adoption happening. All the value creation within XRP is not just going to come from Ripple, though. As we look at Ripple, yeah, I do think that it's great. And I do think that as we see mass adoption for RippleNet technology, which, by the way, yes, I do believe that we will see that. It makes sense, especially when you look at the cost payment savings. For example, here's international payment infrastructure cost. This is a 33% deduction just by utilizing Ripple, not utilizing XRP. When you bring XRP into the game, yeah, it's an extra 9% savings, which is incredible. I mean, that's an extra 9%, so a total of 42%. Now, if XRP's price was stable, I think it's an additional like almost 20% savings. I think it's like over 60% compared to the current system. So it's a no-brainer idea to utilize Ripple with XRP. And I do think, like I said, at some point in time, this will be fully massively adopted, but it's going to take time. It's definitely going to take time. But as we do see a lot of FUD being created around XRP, and we see discussions around XRP and how XRP is going to gain value, well, here's a little bit of a throwback that Digital Perspectives actually posted. And we do see, here's a nice throwback for anybody who needs it this morning. This is discussing how the escrow is for banks, institutions, market makers, entities that create use cases and markets. Listen closely to this.
So we're still in the early stages. In that model, the MSB doesn't have to hold any XRP. So the exchange is taking the risk of holding XRP and the volatility of that. And that's the starting point. And you have to think about this is brand new territory. Nobody has done this ever. So you have to take baby steps and get everybody comfortable, with it. We're doing retail remittances to start. Why? There's low value because the liquidity is not deep in these markets. So if somebody wanted to do a corporate transaction, that's immediately like $10, $100 million. There's not enough liquidity for it. So banks will watch that and say, right, how's that going? And is that cheaper? Is it faster? Is it better? Because banks want somebody else to try it out and say, okay, that works. Maybe now we'll jump in. Actually, back in 2016, we did a project with 12 banks to use XRP between themselves, just as a technical trial. They loved it. It didn't work. They said, okay, instead of having a multiplicity of account relationships that we have to have with each other, 12 banks would have had to have 144 relationships with each other. They just used XRP and moved it between each other and said, this works. So they've already tried that out. And we know that that's the holy grail. But they will take time to get there. And regulators also have to feel comfortable. The volatility has to come down, as I mentioned. Markets have to get deeper. This just takes time. So at this point, to answer your question directly, we don't have a bank that is using it, but we have MSBs starting to trial it. But my expectation is that sooner rather than later, banks will use it because it makes sense. So what Ripple has done is...
And by the way, that's what I meant when like utilizing XRP, it just makes sense. Like right now, currently, yes, no banks are actually utilizing this technology. And why would they be? A lot of people think that this is going to happen, in an instant. But the problem is that banks are very resilient on, utilizing things. They don't want to utilize new technology unless it's 100% proven to work. So as we look at this, like, yeah, sure, there's a long list of application use cases for XRP with RippleNet and Ripple, what they're doing with it. But the problem is that, like, listen, there's just not enough substance for them to say, okay, yeah, we're going to utilize it. Bank of America wants to utilize it. They've discussed this. They've talked about it. They've been very transparent on this. But the problem is that, like, we're just not ready yet. And it takes time. And I know a lot of people, like, to me personally, this is proof in the pudding that, one, not everyone will get rich. The best way to shake retail out is time. Almost everyone is impatient. Listen, it's like going to the gym, right? Some people will go to the gym for a month. They won't see results. They'll quit. But others are very adamant about the fact that it's not going to happen overnight. It takes discipline. It takes patience. And you have to see that. You have to understand that. The same goes for investments. Look at real estate, for an example. You don't see a return overnight. It takes time. But listen closely to the rest of this video.
It's taken about 55 billion of the XRP that we have and put it into escrow. And the idea is, again, to provide stability of supply. So every month, we have 1 billion XRP available for us to do whatever we want with. If you don't use it, it goes to the back of the queue. It's all under a smart contract. And the idea is to say, we will dribble this out so that there is not an immediate, big overhang of XRP on the marketplace. But ultimately, all of that XRP will be owned by institutions that want to use it. And whether they use it for nostril replacement, or they use it as a bridge currency, or potentially for other use cases. So we are certainly beginning to now look at what are the other use cases you can have for this, given the high-performing network that we have. So it will take time, but as that is used to sort of create deeper markets, I think the utility of XRP will in fact grow, and that's kind of where we are headed with it.
And yeah, so I mean, institutions, that's their goal on this, is to have institutions basically holding all that escrowed XRP, which again, when that does become a reality, if that does become a reality, I mean, if you believe in the vision, then obviously yes, that will eventually happen. When you go back to the RippleNet committee and you see all these names, these are the names that they are expecting to be holding that XRP escrow, and many more as well. There's over, I think, 300 that was the last number I remember. I know that it could very well be 600 today, but ultimately speaking, like, as we look at what's happening within the XRP ecosystem and the benefits of it as well, just like he said, it's a no-brainer move. It's a no-brainer move for a lot of these major players, and it's like instant payments at a fraction of a penny. That's like extremely, that's a huge demand, right? It's a very large demand for it. And I do think that it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Today, we are starting to see banks and financial institutions utilizing this technology. They're starting to open their arms to it because they see the value behind it. And, that open ledger technology, that is a huge one. It's a huge one. Banks want to utilize it. And there's limitless use case potential here. Over here, we actually did see Riz XRP post bulk funding, on-demand liquidity bulk funding XRP. Here's yet again another use case. Now, again, as we look at what's happening with this, yes, this is not going to be utilized overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. But as we do look at what's happening, as we see what's happening with, crypto, once we see regulatory issues completely out of the way, things are going to start to move very fast. I think that a lot of people are kind of confused on how XRP will be utilized, on how ledger technology will be utilized. But as you do look at banks, over here, Anderson actually posted this, the open ledger, bank supervisors could have the ability to view directly and in real time which institutions were losing liquidity rather than having to wait for reports from the institutions themselves. Like, this is what ledger technology can do. This is what ledger technology could open the door for. Ultimately speaking, as we look at what's happening around DLT and around crypto itself, transparency within payments, transparency around, liquidity. I mean, the opportunity here is so vast. It's so large. And I really do think that eventually it might take 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I'm willing to wait, because I do think that the overall value that will come to this space in time is going to be so vast. I always say that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, because what we are seeing is a facelift of our entire financial system. We have not seen that in over, the last major innovation that we've seen was the 1960s, when debit and credit cards came to be. Outside of that, yeah, we've seen a few updates to the messaging. We've seen, digital apps and things like that be created, but we haven't seen the rails be updated. We haven't seen anything truly revolutionary happen around finance and payments. And we have it here. I strongly believe that what Ripple is doing with RippleNet, I strongly believe that what they are doing with crypto and what they have achieved so far is very large. But outside of that, ledger technology, XRP, the XRP Ledger itself, and XRP is a digital token outside of what Ripple's doing, that's also extremely valuable. And I actually think that's more valuable than what Ripple is doing with XRP, because the XRP Ledger is boasting use cases within real estate, DeFi, tokenization. I mean, there's so much potential here. And, hey, I diversify outside of XRP, and I think everyone should. I'm not willing to sell my XRP anytime soon, because I know the value behind this. I know what I hold. I understand what I hold. And I think that a lot of people that are, playing into the FUD and, playing into what Ripple's doing with XRP, I think that a lot of them are missing the point. And I think that what the problem is that they've been playing into this narrative around, XRP for so long, and they just don't see past what Ripple is doing with XRP. I think that there's so much opportunity here just around crypto itself that, outside of what Ripple is doing, XRP is truly valuable. And I think that the value on it will soon be realized in. It's going to take time, but I'm excited for that day to come. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. It's up to you all. Have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.